What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Carlos Laguna. If you clicked on my link, it's because you're here to learn how to fish, and that's okay. All of us have to start off somewhere. I know you're probably asking, there's hundreds if not thousands of other videos I could be watching on YouTube. Why do I need to watch yours? I like to think I have a better way of explaining things than some people. I like to know, like myself, I like to know the whys and the hows behind doing something, not just doing it because somebody said to do it. So we can start this journey together. Let's learn how to fish. Let's learn how to get the kids out there, get them involved as well. This is going to be raw video of me talking to you like if you're sitting here next to me. It's not going to be some professional teaching somebody else how to start off brand new. I'm by no means a professional. I like to fish. I like to take my kids out fishing. We like to go out and have a good time. Whether we catch fish or not, we're out there, so that's what counts. So with that, we'll just jump into just the basics of the rods and reels. I know going to like Academy or Cabela's, it can be kind of confusing. You're like, what am I supposed to pick? Which ones is best? Which ones are better for kids? Which ones do I pick? Really, it doesn't matter. You don't need to go in there and spend $100 or $200 on a brand new top of the line fishing pole rod and reel combination. I was just looking at Academy just the other day, and there were rod and reel combos with that starter kit for like $25. And that's fine. If you're brand new to fishing, maybe you don't know whether or not you like to fish. Maybe you want to just figure it out for yourself first. Or maybe you want to take your kids out fishing, but you don't really know much about it yourself, and you kind of want to brush up on it so you can show them what to do. So that's basically what my channel is for, right? It's to show you how my dad taught me and how I taught my kids how to fish. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and run through. I got a couple of my rods and reels just to kind of show you why. Like I said, you'll see some people telling you, this is what you have to pick, or this is what's best for you, but then they don't explain why it's best for you. And for me to be able to go into a store and pick out something that's best for me, I want to understand why. Why is this feature important for me, or what is it that I don't need in a rod and reel? So this is going to be your starter rod and reel, right? This is the Zebco that you're used to seeing, right? It's a spin casting rod, a reel, with a basic 5.5 foot rod on it. This is what you're going to see at Academies or even Walmart, Cabela's or Bass Pros. You just go in there. They'll usually sell them in combinations. They're made out of plastic. This one is 5.5 feet medium light rod. So when it comes to the specifics of your rods, as far as the length, the action, the types of lures or weights you can throw with them, when you're starting off, it doesn't matter. If it's a starter rod and reel like this, it's going to suit you fine. Unless you're going out there for some 10, 20 pound catfish or 10 pound monster bass. When you're starting out, that doesn't matter. Just pick something that you can use, get out there and start fishing. Get out there and start throwing that line out, see what it's like to catch a fish, see if it's something you want to go ahead and dive deeper into. If not, that's okay. You only invested $20 or $25. So this is a Zebco. You're going to hear Zebcos all over the place. They've been around for a really long time. This is the easiest to use. So most of the times when your kids want to start fishing, you'll go to like Academy and you'll see the combo starter kits. It's the Snoopy rod and reel or the Mickey Mouse or the Minnie Mouse, and it looks similar to this. And the reason why this is so easy, because you just have a couple of things. You have the push button that you use to cast your line out, and then you have the handle that you turn to bring in your line. This is as simple as it gets. I mean, other than this, you could do a cane pull, which is perfectly fine as well, but then there's no reeling in, and that's what kids really like to do. They like to get involved. They like to do something. They don't want to just sit there for hours on end wondering when they're going to catch a fish. They want to throw it out, reel it in, throw it out, reel it in. So I'm going to put together a video of later on of going to Walmart or Cabela's and picking one out to show you what that process is going to look like, because it can be pretty overwhelming when you go out there and you see 10, 20, 30 rod and reel combos and you know nothing about them, and you're like, where do I start off? What do I do? So that'll help you out. So again, this is a spin cast. This is what you want to go ahead and pick if you're starting out. Now I like the spinning reels, which is this one right here. You can tell because usually they'll sit at the bottom like this. I know some people that don't know how to fish, you'll still see them reeling it in this way. That's not the way to do it, but to each their own. This one's a little more complicated. It has a bail that you have to open, and then of course your handle as well, and you'll have your drag. So this one is okay. Like for my kids, I started them off on the spin cast, and then they graduated to the spinning reel, and that's fine. I would probably suggest it that way. These could be a little more expensive if you're doing like a basic rod and reel combination. They also have these for $20 or $30, but it's a little more complicated to use, so I'd probably hold off on this one until you get a little brushed up on your casting abilities. The third one is your bait casting one. Now this one, it's not the easiest to throw. I've been fishing ever since I was a little kid. I still haven't mastered this reel for the simple fact that once this line gets spooling off of here, once that line hits that water, it's going to bird's nest. It's going to keep wanting to go, and all of a sudden you have this big old bird's nest of line that you have to get rid of. So I know a lot of bass fishermen like them. Some cat fishermen do. I definitely would not recommend this one for somebody starting off, so try to stay away from it. And then of course, you know, this is what I use for cat fishing sometimes, and this is a good, you can't see this off camera, this is a good 8-foot rod. Again, this is a bait casting. You see your spool is perpendicular to your rod. That's how you can tell. A little more complicated. There's a lot more to this one than what you would have with the spin casting, so I would stay away from these. Now when you go into Cabela's or Walmart or Academy, sometimes you're going to see the little rod and reel combos that have the rods that look like this, really small. I know my grandson picked one up, and over here at the base it started out this thin. I wouldn't recommend something like that, because if you get a fish on there, it's going to bend the pole like crazy, even if it's just a little one. So I would stay away from something this thin as far as the rod. This is an ultralight used for just fishing really small fish. Again, I would stay away from something this small. If you stick to something like this, like I said, this is just the basic Zebco rod and reel combination. I mean, like I said, you can pick this up for 20 or 30 bucks. And that's with that starter kit with all the floats, the hooks and weights that you need, swivels. That's perfect. This will get you fishing. It'll get you out there on the water and pulling in some fish. Now, you're not gonna land 20-30 pound fish with this thing, but that's not what the point of these videos are, right? It's to get you familiar with it so you can make the decision on whether or not you want to go out there and fish, or if this is something you want to teach your kids on how to do. I know I didn't realize it until I took my son out, you know, a couple times back, that, you know, not a lot of people out there know how to fish. Not a lot of kids have somebody to take them and go out there and fish. And I mean, you can go out there on YouTube and pull up videos on how to fish and how to do this and that, but I think you have to have somebody that can actually explain to you how to do it and why to do it before you feel comfortable enough to do it yourself. Like I said, there's tons of videos out there. I'm hoping that I can explain it in a way that it kind of makes sense to you, and it'll get you out there. I mean, those are memories that your kids are going to enjoy for the rest of their lives. I mean, I have memories of when we used to go fishing with my dad when we were kids. And back then, you know, we didn't go out there. We would go out there fishing multiple times and we would never catch a fish. Never. And it never dawned on me that, man, this stinks. How come we're not catching anything? You know, I had cousins that would go fishing with their parents, and they would tell us, oh, we pulled in this many catfish and this and that. And I'm like, man, we didn't catch anything, but it never bothered me because I had fun. And even if we didn't catch any fish, I still remember those times. And that's the stuff that these kids are going to remember when they get older. When my son gets older, when my daughter get older, they're going to remember those times that we took them out there. And if they catch a fish or two, that's awesome. But if not, it's about going out there and having fun, pulling in some fish, learning new things, getting outside. You know, we spend way too much time indoors, especially with this pandemic, that we forget about, you know what, there's other things we can do than going to the mall or going to the movies or going to restaurants where there's all kinds of people everywhere. And when it was at the very worst of the pandemic, that's what we were doing. We're like, what do we do? And then they were saying, oh, you can go out there and you can exercise and you can do this and that. I was like, we can go fishing. Fishing, you're by yourself. You know, we fish from the bank. I don't have a boat. I'd love to have a boat, but we don't have a boat. So all the fishing that I've ever done myself has been from the bank. And that's what I intend to do here. So this first video was just meant to kind of give you an introduction about the rods and reels that are out there, what to look for, where to start off. Start off with the Zebco, $20, $25. You'll be fine. The other videos I'm gonna make are gonna go over like your hooks, your weights, your floats, your line, and then the bait, all kinds of bait that you can use. It doesn't cost a lot of money to go out there and take you a little bitty old bucket of worms or minnows or bread even and start catching fish, you know, showing your kids how to get out there and do these things. You know, it doesn't have to be always inside having fun. You can be outside just enjoying each other's time, and it's perfectly fine. So I hope you like this video. If you have any suggestions of what you want to see me do, please leave it in the comments. Please make sure you subscribe. Give me a thumbs up so I know that you're watching these videos and you like them. And I'll get this next video out here within the next week. Until then, see you again.